first thing you have to do is you have to think counterintuitively. If you're simply going to do what everyone else does, by definition, you're going to end up being, I think, mediocre, but following the pack. And so the first thing is a mindset that encourages you, which enables you to encourage people who are working with you or for you to think in a kind of counter-cyclical or counterintuitive way. It's one of the things that I've admired the most about Mike Bloomberg, who just, it's in his DNA and therefore in the DNA of Bloomberg, the company, to do what other people don't do. I think about it, he formed the company in the midst of the last Great Recession in the early 80s, expanded the company dramatically by opening up a news operation, expanding internationally, moving from fixed income into equities in the recession of the late 1980s and early 1990s. Saw the biggest gains by investing heavily in product and product development in the recession in the early part of this decade. And that's fundamentally what we are doing today at Bloomberg. We're actually adding almost 1,000 people this year to build out new product, to start new businesses, to build our news organization, because we fundamentally believe that things will come back. We can't tell you exactly when, and we want to be positioned for when they do. For us, this is a market share gain period, and the only way to do that is to be aggressive in providing better products, better service, and really recruiting the kinds of people who are going to lead us forward. That's what we use as Spirit. And that's the same approach that we took in the city. You know, as I said, we came in early 2002, the economy was reeling, and we learned the lessons from the 1970s. The 1970s in New York were a disastrous decade. We lost 800,000 people as we disinvested in quality of life, police protection, our mass transit system, our parks, our schools, and people fled, taking their taxes with them. And it took the city a generation to recover the 800,000 people that it lost during that decade. When we came into office, the mayor concluded we were not going to do the same thing. That in fact, what we had to do was preserve the quality of life, enhance it, while still being prudent about the way we spent money, but more importantly, making the investments that would propel the next stage of growth when the recovery occurred. And the recovery always does occur. History's perfect. In each one of these downturns, people said New York will never recover. 10 times out of 10, New York came back stronger than ever. And so at the depth of the financial crisis, the last one, we actually announced the largest affordable housing program ever by a city in American history to build out neighborhoods that we thought had the chance for real recovery. We invested heavily in infrastructure and in our educational system, and the city has continued to grow. The tax base has continued to grow. We generated surpluses through the good times, part of which have been used to cushion us through the bad times. But fundamentally what it is that counterintuitive, counter-cyclical thinking.